pre-assessment. So go ahead and log in to your courses via Schoology and make sure you guys are working on that pre-assessment. So I'll just share with you on my screen what that should look like. So if you go into Schoology, you go to courses, you're looking for Math Skills 4 with this purple picture, and you're going to access week 5, this red folder with this week's date on it, and make sure you guys are doing the percents pre-assessment, okay? That's what you guys should be accessing right now is the percents pre-assessment. I need you guys to complete that as we get started. All right, so make sure you guys are working on that pre-assessment. All right, so just a reminder, go ahead and work on your week 5 pre-assessment. And if you're done with that, you can go ahead and work on the discussion post that follows it, or this word problem here that's on the PowerPoint. I'll give you guys a few more minutes to wrap up your pre-assessment in the week 5 folder. Again, you should be working on the pre-assessment for week 5 right now on your Schoology folder. Make sure you're in week 5 doing the pre-assessment. And then you can do the discussion post that follows it and this word problem here. We'll get started as soon as everybody's completed the pre-assessment. All right, just a few more minutes on the pre-assessment for week 5. That's what you guys should be working on. Remember, just do what you know. If you're having a hard time with it, that's okay. Just fill out whatever you can on the pre-assessment, and then we will move on to the discussion posts and the word problem that you see in front of you on this PowerPoint slide. Okay. All right, so as you guys wrap up your pre-assessments and the discussion post that follows it, I'll go ahead and make my announcements for the week so that we can just dive right into class once everybody's up to date on their pre-work stuff. Welcome to another week of classes. I hope, spring break or fall break, excuse me, spring break. Fall break was enjoyable, and I hope you guys used the time wisely. I have a few announcements for you guys for this week. Make sure that you all are calling the following number 202-289-6623 and putting in extension 128 if you're having any problems with technology or if you need any help with classes, as far as accessing them, or your schedule seems weird to you or what have you. I'm going to put it in the chat as well. But if you leave your name and your number and your reason for calling, you will hopefully get a call back within 48 hours. That is the plan. If you're having tech issues, like there are issues with your computer that you need to get um, rectified, fixed, corrected in any way, um, at both campuses, there will be somebody on site from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Mondays and Wednesdays to help you out in person. If you can't get the help online, if you feel like it's not very helpful, or you can't understand what's being told to you over the phone, you can go in person Mondays and Wednesdays from 10 to 4 p.m. Okay. Um, a mask must be worn to enter the building, but no appointment is needed. So you can just show up anytime between 10 a.m. and 4 p.m. on Mondays and Wednesdays. All right. If you need a tutor, make sure you provide your name and a subject you need help with to your educator, and they will reach out to get a tutor for you. Remember to check your AOH emails regularly for any important information and updates. All right. The new trivia for this week has been posted, so make sure you check the homeroom course for the trivia. And the round 3 trivia winners were Deanna Costin and Renee Young. So congratulations to Renee, who's in our class. You will be receiving your gift card via mail. So congratulations on that. You're one of the winners for the week 3 of
Um,
trivia.
yeah, but question I would want to say, and sorry if I not interrupted. Do I even didn't see in my see guild card though? I know last time I had one the first
So
one.
yeah, if you that's fine. I will reach out to Miss Koya about it. It's supposed to be coming in the mail. I don't know when it was mailed. So I'll ask her when it was mailed.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let's see what else. Oh yes, we have some announcements from the workforce department. So our workforce department helps you all to get into the workforce, right? So if you are looking for a job or thinking about a career, right? Those are the people who you need to talk to about getting into the career services programs that we have and we offer. Once you have scores that allow you to get into those programs. And also, if you're looking for a job in general, they will be putting out job listings every other week. And they'll post it in the homeroom course, I believe, on Schoology. And so they'll let you guys know. But if there's other things you need help with, like if you need assistance with an application, with your resume, or with cover letters, um, you can contact them as well. And I'll put their contact information in the chat. You can contact Miss Mary, who is the director of Career and Workforce Services. Um, and her email is mary@aohdc.org, or you can give her a call at 202-269-6623, which is the main number for the school. You just want to put in extension 126 for her. And if you need to talk to just one of the employment specialists who can also help you out with any of those things, getting into any of the programs, applications, resumes, or cover letters, our Ward 8 employment specialist is Monique Vaughn. So you can email her at monique@aohdc.org, or give her a phone call. The number again is 202-269-6623. But for her, the extension is 210. And I'll put this information in the chat so you guys can have a record of it for later. All right. So if you're looking at any career workforce services plans, or if you want any like post-secondary and training plans, like what's next after AOH, are you thinking about community college, college in general, or some sort of other career services training or school training, they can help you out with that as well. Okay, so don't forget to involve the Workforce Services Department and with if you need assistance with things. All right, let me put it in the chat right now. Okay, so those are our folks. Okay, and again, their email address is just their first name at aohdc.org. So just put their first name first and then at aohdc.org. Oh, all right, I think those are all of my announcements. We had a lot of announcements for this week, because it's been a while since we've seen you all. And for whatever reason, we have a very small class today. I hope that everybody is able to watch this recording later and know that they must complete the pre-assessment and the discussion post to get credit for the morning class. And I see that most of you have finished everybody that's on here has already finished their pre-assessment. Thank you so much. We also need you guys to do your discussion post as well. So it's right under it. In that same folder, how are percents related to fractions and decimals? Make sure you guys try to answer that discussion post as well. You have to fill in the blanks about the fractions, decimals, and percents. We're about to go over that in a second. But first, I want to start with this problem that we see in front of us about Bill from Bill's Burgers. All right, so Bill from Bill's Burgers raises the price of his bacon cheeseburger by 15%. If the old price was $6, what is the new price? Let's see. $6.90. How did we figure that out? What did we do? What are the steps to figure that out? You guys gotta teach me stuff. I don't know how to do things. Teach me.
We have to turn the percentage sign into a decimal.
Okay, I have to turn the percent into a decimal. Okay. How do I do that?
You move it over 2 places and put a decimal.
Very good. So I just need to go to the end of my number, or if there is a decimal in my number already, I'll start there. But in this case, there's no decimal. So I go to the end of my number and I go 2 places to the left, right? I should hear irreplaceable in my head, right? Beyonce should start singing to me, right? Where's my box of stuff, Beyonce? It's to the left, right? So 2 places to the left, good. So now I have 0.15. Okay, now what do I do with that 0.15? I have my decimal. How do I use it?
Then you multiply it by the $6.
Very good. Okay. So now I have 0.15 times 6. So 6 times 5 is 30. I'm going to put my 0 down, carry my 3. 6 times 1 is 6 plus 3. That's 90. Right? But I have 2 decimal places. So I have to go over to the left twice. So 90 cents is how much he is raising the price by, right? So then what do I do with this 90 cents?
You add it to the $6.
Very good. So 90 cents plus $6 gives me $6.90 for his bacon cheeseburger. Okay, very good. So this week is all about percents, obviously, right? I guess you guys figured that out with the pre-assessment, with this activity, with the discussion post, which we're about to do right now. We're going to be focusing on how to work with our percents. So working with percents is pretty straightforward as long as you remember these rules, right? The first rule is that we never use a percent in math, right? We always turn a percent into a decimal. Before we apply any percents in math, they have to become decimals, okay? So in order to turn a percent into a decimal, we have to go 2 places to the left, 2 decimal places to the left to turn a percent into a decimal. All right, very good. We're going to look at that discussion post now on our Schoology platform. Okay, here we go. So we're in our Schoology platform now. And I just want to make sure that we are looking at this discussion post. How are percents related to fractions and decimals? So we can see that we have a chart here, and it says that I need to convert these things to the other things, right? And it wants me to convert 350% into a fraction and a decimal. It wants me to also convert the decimal 0.025 or 25 thousandths into a fraction and a percent. And it wants me to convert the fraction 1/8 into a decimal and a percent. All right, so all of these numbers are rational numbers. They are all parts of a whole. Decimals, percents, and fractions are all parts of a whole. And so we're going to try to convert them all into one another, right? Again, to convert a percent to a decimal, all I have to do is move the decimal point over, yes, 2 points, 2 places to the left. So 350% will become 3.5 as a decimal. And when I write 3.5 as a decimal, it would be 3.5, right, over what? It would be 3.5, what would that be over? 3.5.
You said you said as a decimal, what would 3.5 be over?
Yeah, no, as a fraction. How do I write that decimal?
Oh.
With 3.5 would be what?
Oh, so wouldn't that be what is that? 350 over 100?
Okay, so let's see. Let's think about it. So I have the decimal. I just said it was 0.3. Oops, sorry, trying to draw and I can't draw. Okay, here we go. My decimal is 3.5, right? That's what location is this 3 in?
It is in the ones place.
In the ones place. Where's this 5?
It's in the tenths place.
Okay, right. So if it was just the 5, right? To make it into a decimal, I would remove the decimal and just put the 5 over 10, right?
Oh, okay.
If that was just a decimal, right? But I have now a whole number with a decimal.
Oh, so it'd be 3 over, so would it be 3.5 over 10?
What place is the 1 in? The 3 in, I mean?
It's in the ones place. Oh.
Right, this isn't a very good fraction. So you can either write it 3.5 over 1 or 3 and 5 tenths. Right?
Okay.
You have to acknowledge that this is a whole number in some way. So you either put it over 1, right? Because that's what you do with any whole number, or you make it a mixed fraction in this case. So either 3 and 5 tenths or 3.5 over 1 is the fraction of this. And we'll get into that. We're going to dive deep into how to convert these numbers, but just to give us a general idea. Going from a percent to a decimal, really easy, right? So how do I go from a decimal to a percent? I have 0.025. How do I turn that into a percent? So percent to decimal is to the left, to the left. So what is a decimal to a percent? Nobody? Just here alone? In this empty
No,
room, talking to myself?
we're not. No, I'm still here.
How do I turn a decimal to a percent?
How you turn the decimal to plan with the 350?
No, the 0.025. How do I turn that
Oh,
to 2%?
how I turn that percent? You basically might want to turn it. To turn that percent, it's gonna be 2.5. Gonna be 2.5%.
So I move the decimal 2 places to the right,
Well,
right? So to go from a decimal
yeah,
to a percent, right? I go to the right.
you're right. Yeah,
From a percent to a decimal, I go to the left. So from a decimal to a percent, I go to the right. I just go the other way. So when I move these 2 places to the right, it's going to be 2.5%,
percent.
right? That's what I'm going to have here in number 4 is 2.5%.
Yeah, because I did just put down a highlight bar.
Very good. All right, so here's my original decimal that I'm working with, right? 0.025. What place is this 0 in? What place is this? The second 0 is in what place?
In the 10th,
That's a 10th place. The 2 is in the
100 place,
and the 5 is in the,
thousandth place.
okay, so to turn this decimal into a fraction, I can take away the zeros and the decimal, keep the 25 and put it over what number?
Oh, 25.
1,000?
Thousands place.
1,000 place, yeah.
Ah,
Okay, good.
I
And
know.
now I need to reduce this fraction because it can be reduced, okay? And it can be reduced by how much?
1 over 4 dice. Well, 1 over 4.
Not 1/4, almost.
Mm.
I have 1,000, not 100. I have 1,000. So it's a 4 with a 1.
Oh no, I take that back. It's 1 over 40. 1 over
Very
40.
good.
My bad.
Both of these
I know I did put
reduced
that
by
on it.
5, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Good. 25 goes into 100 how many times? It goes into 100 4 times. And so it has to go into 0 times. So it's going to be 1 over 40. Always try to reduce your fractions if you can. So the smallest fraction that could be is 1 over 40. Same thing here. This fraction can be reduced right too, is right? This 5 over 10. So we should really write this as not 5 over 10, but 1/2. So it should be 3 and 1/2. Always reduce your fractions if you can. It's always better to have the smallest version of your fraction when you're converting. All right. Last but not least, we have 1/8. We're going to have to work with 1/8 now and turn that into decimals and percents. So let's turn this fraction 1/8 into a decimal. How do I do that? How do I turn a fraction into a decimal? Who remembers? I know it's been 2 long weeks since you've had math, but how do you turn a decimal into a fraction into a decimal? How do I go from 1/8 to a decimal?
would you divide the 8 into the 1?
That's perfect. That's exactly what I would do. So 8 goes into 1, except 8 can't go into 1. So what do I do?
Do 0.0?
Yeah, add a decimal and a 0. And now 8 can go into 10, right? It's going to go in 1 time. I'm going to get 8. And what's going to be left over is 2. So I have to add another decimal because I don't want any remainders.
Yeah, you're gonna go to 1. It'd be 6.
It goes in 2 times, right? Good. I'm going to have 4 left, and I don't want any remainders. So I'm going to add another 0, bring that down. How many times is 8 going to 40?
It go 5 times.
Goes 5 times. So my decimal version of 1/8 is 0.125.
5, yeah, that's what I got on there.
Okay, so now how do I write this 0.125 as a percent?
I would say if you go, gotta be 1.25%. Then
How many times do I have to move to the right?
2.
2,
So 1,
1.
2. So it's 12.25. percent.
Oh,
We always have to go 2 places to the right to go from a decimal to a percent, 2 places to the left to go from a percent to a decimal. It's always good to just hear Miss Knowles Carter in your head, just to see her singing it, right? To the left, right? She says it twice. If she says it twice, that's the time you gotta move.
she just said that. Well, actually, she just said that more than once in the song. Because that's it. Those ones she just saying that more than once. That's just saying that throughout the whole chord. That's just,
What I'm saying is that
I'm just thinking, but
says it twice in a row for a reason.
that might, but yeah, I know that's the song, but I'm saying that's my upper opinion on it.
I'm
But
saying that she says it more than 2 times for the entire song, Margaret. What I'm saying is that the whole point of it is that it's not just to the left. She says to the left, and then she continues to sing. All right, so we are going to work today really on percents, and not only converting our percents and understanding how to convert them, but really working with how to apply them as well, right? Just like in the example we did in the warm-up on the PowerPoint slide, how do we apply taxes? How do we apply discounts, right? Those things that are also in your pre-assessment. We're gonna really work through that and how to work with those numbers really easily. Remember that if you see these kinds of things on your CASAS test, you will be able to use a calculator, but I want us to get comfortable doing it by hand first before we access doing this on a calculator, because I want us to be able to really understand what's happening. And the best way to understand it is to do it by hand first, okay? And then we can also talk about shortcuts and how to do quick percents in our head so that we're not, so that we're not sitting in the store thinking, can I afford this product with the discount? To not sit here and calculate it in my mind, try to figure out how much of a discount I'm getting, right? So we can figure out ways to do quick percents in our head, all right? So that's gonna be the focus of this week. So we're gonna go on to the next item in your folder, which are the notes. So go back into your week 5 folder. And we're gonna open up our percent notes, right? Make sure you open it with Cami, which has just been renewed. So we all have a complete license for Cami, which should be great. I'm gonna open up our notes. Okay, so let's get into it. Let's do these notes. It says to determine the percent of a number, you need to remember 2 key points. The word of means multiply, and percents must be changed to decimals before you can multiply with them. Just like I said before, right? This is one of the most important things we have to remember is that percents must be changed to decimals before you can multiply with them, right? In fact, I think I can, let's see. I'm gonna highlight this, right? So that I always have it marked. Percents must be changed to decimal before you can multiply with them, right? Okay. So in this first example, it says, what is 70% of 150, right? In order to figure that out, 70% of 150, and to take my 70%, turn it into a decimal, which means I have to go to the left twice, 1, 2. I'm gonna get 0.70 as my decimal. I'm going to take that decimal and multiply it to 150, right? So when I have my 150, I'm going to mark this up here for you all. If I have my 150 and I multiply it by 0.70, I'm going to put that 0 off to the side so I can just pull it down, right? We do 35 and 10. And I have 2 decimal places, right? I have 2 decimal places in this 0.70. So I go over by 2 decimal places and my answer is 105, right? It's just that simple. So what's the difference? Because I have 0.70, right? When I have the 70% and I change it into a decimal, I have 0.70. What's the difference between 0.70 and 0.7? What's the difference? Do I need that 0 after the 7? Do I need to put a 0 here? Is this 0 important? Does it make a difference?
Well, I mean, I'm thinking, you don't need to. That sometimes probably you don't. But when you do need the 0, you need probably need.
Is it going to make a difference in my
Yeah,
answer?
I mean, it doesn't different. I mean, that doesn't differ from that. It'll be the same. It'll be the same question. It'll be the same question.
So if I calculate this without that 0, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
I get 1,050 and I have only 1 decimal place. So I only have to move my decimal over 1 time. I
Yeah.
still get 105.
Right.
So the only time that a 0 matters after a decimal place is if there's another number after it, okay?
Right.
If your 0 is at the end of your decimal number, it is not important. You can cut it off, you can pretend it's not there, okay? So 0.70 is the same as 0.7, but it is not the same as 0.07, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Where
Totally.
that
That's
zero is important, right?
right.
Take the place, but they're not the same. 0.70 and 0.7 are the same number, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and try to solve our next problem. We're going to do what is 40%? What is 40% of 120? All right. I'm gonna clear my drawings here, get all those out of the way. So my first step is to turn that 40% into a decimal. What is the decimal of 40%?
I'm gonna say you put 0. It'll be 0.4 or later.
Good, 0.4, or I can say 0.40. Either one is going to be completely fine. They're the same
Yeah.
number. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to do what?
Remember, put 0.4 and multiply by 120.
Good. 0.4 times 120. What's that answer?
That'll give you 48.
Very good. All right. I have 1 decimal place in my multiplication problem, so I need to move by that place in my answer. So my answer is going to be 48. Okay. Remember, whenever we're multiplying by a decimal, okay, whatever number of decimals we have in our factors are the number of decimal places we have to move in our product or in our answer. Okay. So I have 1 decimal place here in this number. That means I have to move by 1 decimal place in my answer. If I had 1 decimal place in each of my factors, then I have to move 2 decimal places in my answer, okay? Whatever number of decimal places you have in your factors in total, in both of your factors, that's how many decimal places you move over in your answer. All right, so this answer is 48. All right, what about this one? 60% of 70. First step is going to be to turn that 60% into a decimal, which is going to be what?
0.60.
Perfect, good. And what's my second step?
It'll be 0.6 times, oh, 70. I'm sorry.
Good. All right. right, and what's 70 times 0.6?
It is, let's see. It is 42.
Very good. All right, 42. All right, 70 times 0.6 is just 42. Right, and that's it. So whenever you are looking for 60% of a number, that's all you're doing. It's just a two-step problem. Turn your percent to a decimal and then multiply it to that number. Okay, that's how you find the percent of a number. All right, so let's try the rest of these on page 2 as well. So we have 30% of 250. So I'm going to multiply 250 by what?
0.3.
Very good. And what am I going to get as my answer when I do that? 250 times 0.3.
15, 6, 7. So, and that is 2 decimal places?
1 decimal place.
Oh, 1 decimal place, okay. So it's 75.0.
Good. Just 75, right? We're not going to put 75.0 because that's the same as just 75, right? So just 75. So 30% of 250 is 75. All right, how would I solve number 2?
It will be 0, it will be 0.40
Mm-hmm.
times 55.
All right, what is that?
Okay. And that's 2 decimal places, so it's 22.
Good. All right. Another thing to think about when we're doing these percents of numbers, your answer should be smaller than the original number, right? So that's another way for you to kind of check and think about it. If you end up with a bigger number, right? If I did 55 times 0.40 and I ended up with 2,200, I'd be like, huh, how is 40% of 55 bigger than 55? That shouldn't be a thing, right? That's not how things work, right? So that's another way to kind of think about it when you're thinking about your answer, all right? That's one way to kind of check for yourself. Just make sure you're doing your math correctly. All right, what is 10% of 780? How do I figure that one out?
.10 times 780.
Very good. All right, what's my answer for that one?
So that is going to be 78.
Yep, it's just gonna be 78. So 10% is one of those easy percents that we actually don't even need to calculate to get the answer. 10% of any number is just going to be 1 decimal place to the left. So 10% of 780 is just 78. 10% of 500 is 50. 10% of 429 is 42.9. Right? Just move the decimal place 1 time to the left to get 10% of any number. So we don't have to really do a lot of calculations to figure out 10%. 10% is just 1 decimal place to the left. Okay, that's how we find 10% of any number. All right, so if I have 10% of 5.2, it's still one decimal place left to get 10%. So it'd be 0.525. All right. Just something to think about as an easy shortcut to finding that decimal. 10% is just one decimal place to the left. I'll just write that down as a note for us. Why not? Okay, so just so we know, 10% of any number is just one decimal place to the left. Okay, very good. All right, so now number 4, it says we have 20% of 1,300. How do I figure that one out?
Say it'll be like 0.2, like 0.20, so then
Mm-hmm.
0.20 first, and then you multiply by 1,300, and I'll give you 200. I'll give you 260 there.
Very good. That's very good. Yep. 260. And then this last one here, number 5, 90% of 800.
At 0.9
Mm-hmm.
times 800.
Okay, beautiful. And what's that?
That's, let's see,
120.
let's see, 7,200.
That's bigger than 800.
Oh, oops, yeah, okay, 720.
Yeah, it's gonna be 720, right? 7,200. That's how, again, right? That's how we check. We're like, wait, how did I end up with a bigger number? Right? I did something wrong. And what you did wrong in that case was not move your decimals over correctly, right? You should definitely not have a bigger number than what you started with. It was just 720. And I think I heard somebody say that. So, all right. We did the basic stuff. Let's get into these word problems. All right, so the Smith family went out to dinner and received great service. They decided to leave a 20% tip for their waitress. If their dinner bill totaled $90, how much was the tip?
Okay, so that's even what I was thinking. Like if you say 20%, you would turn the 20% into a decimal. It's going to be like 0.20. Then
Okay.
you multiply by the 90, so then, and I'll give you $18.
Okay, great. So that's how much she got as a tip, right? So she just take the $90,
Yep.
multiply it by 0.2, right? We turned the 20% into 0.2 by moving our decimal over twice. We got 0.2, right? 90
Yep.
times 0.2 gives me 18. So that's how much the person got as their tip. Okay, so what was the total that they paid that night for dinner, including the tip?
That paper doing that would be 18. That would be 18 about. Hold on, 18. But so when they say how much percentage, you need to find what?
No, I'm just, so this is you already answered this question, right? We already answered the question that they asked us to answer. What I'm asking you now is how much did they pay in total then? With the dinner bill and the tip, how much did they pay in total?
Okay, you have to pay. Okay, then basically you have to add it. Well, no, so you got to. Now, if the people like 5, hold on. kind of spend my went up to repeat grade 7 to need to get 4, but like 100. Hold on, 108. Dang it, I don't think that now 108, but 108. Then 108. 108 got.
Right. So yeah, all we're doing is going to take the dinner bill, as we said, right? Take the dinner bill,
Right.
add the $18. It's going to be $108, right? That's how much
Yeah.
it's total.
Mm.
Right. So I mean, if you're asked to find the tip, but then asked to find the total, all you would do is add it together, right?
Right.
Anytime you have a tip or tax, you still do the exact same thing, right? To find the tip or the tax, but then you have to add it to the total. Because it's not like they got a bill for $90 and was like, oh great, I know how much to tip my waitress. Let me just leave this $18 here and I'm good, right?
Right.
Pay the $90 bill, right? So it's 90 plus 18. So they're going to pay $108 in total. Okay. Let's try a little something here. I'm going to erase this work. I'm going to move up my thing so that, okay. So number 7, 8, 9, and 10 are visible. And there are 4 people in class today. Smallest class I've had in a while. But I need one of you all to just choose each of the numbers. Just choose one. I'll let you guys choose. I don't have to choose this time, so I'll let you guys pick what number to work on.
Yeah, I already choose the first part. Choose the first part, but I'm.
Wait, I'm sorry, what?
No,
What?
I already said that. No, I was saying I already choose number 6. I would choose number 6 when we did.
Yeah,
Choose number
okay,
6.
that's great. You still have to do another one, so you can pick another one out of 7, 8, 9, and 10. You can to do. All right, so I just need each person to pick one of these numbers, either 7, 8, 9, or 10. Just let me know which one you want to work on. And then you guys can work on them individually, and we'll come back together and go over the answers. All right, so who wants to do what?
I'll do number 10.
Okay, so Renee's gonna do number 10.
I'll do 7.
Okay, Anthony's gonna do 7.
7. Okay. I made trying to. I think she said she'll do 9. She
Okay.
said she'll do 9. I'll probably do 8.
Marvin. Okay, great. All right, so I'm just gonna give you guys 2 minutes to do it on your own silently, and then we'll come back in and go over the answers. All right. Great. No questions, no comments and concerns? Okay. That's great. That's okay. That works for me. The word problems, of course, we just did, and you guys did individually. You guys did very well. Thank you guys so much for that. Let me just go back to our Schoology page and go into our folder so I can go over the work for today and what is due. I apologize, as I just realized that I did not resume the recording after I gave you guys that break to finish your word problems. But don't worry, I'll add those back on there. All right, but in Schoology, what you guys are working on for this week and what is due today, you guys will be happy to know, all of you are on with me right now, will be happy to know that as long as you submit your notes for today, you guys are done for today, because you guys should have already done your pre-assessment, your discussion post. As long as you guys submit your notes, which we just did together, you guys will be done for today. But those are the things that I need turned in by 7 p.m. today to get full credit for today's assignments. For those of you who are watching the recording back, make sure that is in by 7 p.m. today to get full attendance for today. Are these first 3 things: the pre-assessment, your discussion post, and the notes, okay? On Wednesday, we are going to go over some more work on how to work with percents and apply discounts. And we're going to start with practice number 1. To do that, we're going to do practice number 1 in class together. All right. And then you guys will have practices 2 and 3 to work 2, 3, and the exit ticket, of course, to work on your own the rest of that week. All right, so that's the assignments for today. You guys who are on with me should be done as long as you have made your comments on the discussion post. Make sure you make a comment. Please make a comment. And submit your notes by 7 p.m. today, but they're done. We just did them all together. So hopefully you guys should just submit it right now via Cami. All right, and that's it. I will see you all on Wednesday.
And then, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
All
All
right.
right.
Thank you.
All right, John. See y'all this Wednesday.
See you Wednesday.
See you Wednesday. Okay, so I wanted to go back over those word problems that I missed earlier, just to demonstrate how to do them. I'm sorry that I cut off the recording of the students doing them, but let me go ahead and put them in here now for you all. So to apply the 20% tip, again, we just need to move the decimal place 2 places to the left, so we get 0.2, and then we multiply that by 90 to give us $18 for the tip. All right, and that's the question that they wanted us to answer here in number 6. And so we did that, which is great because the Smith family just wanted to know how much money they were going to leave their waitress for the 20% tip on a $90 dinner bill. So what I also wanted to follow up and ask the students were, if I have a $90 bill and an $18 tip, what is the total that I'm leaving behind to pay my whole bill? So remember that when we have a tip, we just add it to the total. So 90 plus 18 to give me a total of $108. That's how much we're gonna spend for that dinner. Number 7 says that Carlos took a math test. He scored 75%. How many questions did he get correct on his test? So all the student did was turn the 75 into a 0.75 and then multiply that by 40. When we work that out, 0.75 times 40, we are going to get 30. So 30 are the number of questions that the student got correct. All right, $320 worth of photographs from a website. We have to pay a 10% shipping and handling fee. 10% of 320, we can do 0.10 times 320. Or much easier, 10% is one of those ones that we should remember in our head. The easy way to figure out 10% is just to go 1 decimal place to the left, meaning that that fee is going to be $32. Okay, so if she ordered $320 worth of photographs and has to pay a $32 shipping and handling fee, what is she paying in total? It's just going to be the 320 plus 32, which is going to give us $352 for the total there. Okay. All right, so those are the first 3 problems, 6, 7, and 8. I'm going to do 9 and 10 as well, but let me just clear these drawings. Okay, so for 9 and 10, which are pretty straightforward as well, we're just going to take the $440 that April made in tips from waitressing last night, because she has to give 20% of her tips to the boys who clean the tables. So how much did she give to them? So we turn the 20% again into a decimal, which is just 0.2. We multiply it by 440, and she ends up giving them $88. Okay. And then for number 10, you purchase a $1,500 television and you have to pay 6% sales tax. 6% as a decimal. Remember, it's not 0.6, it's 0.06. We have to go 2 places to the left. So we do 1,500 times 0.06, and we end up with $90 as your sales tax. Okay, and in total, what you would pay for that is the $1,500 for the price of the television plus the $90 in sales tax, which would be $1,550. Okay, that's how much you pay in total. All right, sorry that I put these at the end of the video, but you now have all of them.